Well, hundreds of people are dead after an earthquake rocked Japan earlier today. Joining me now is Tim Masterlark from the University's Geological Sciences Department. He's an expert on quakes and the science behind them. Tim, thank you for being with us today.
My pleasure.
I've got a lot of questions, but we don't have a whole lot of time. So I guess the first thing that I'm really curious about, we've heard throughout the day that the quake actually happened out at sea, maybe as far as 100 miles, but the effects on Japan are just staggering. What happened there? Why does it happen this way?
The earthquake is reported as out at sea, but really it's along a fault that starts off out at sea offshore and then it goes underneath Japan, so it's really a lot closer than the reported location sounds like.
So the epicenter would be out in the ocean.
Correct.
But its proximity to the fault and where the fault runs.
Yes.
Sort of like a spider web. You give the spider web a jiggle and the whole thing
You can think of it that way, yes.
All right, I understand. Now, tsunamis, that really seems to be the video that we're getting throughout the day, these huge, massive waves just washing over everything. Explain tsunamis for us.
Okay, the earthquake causes a shift in the seafloor, a pretty quick shift, and the solid rock of the seafloor can hold that change, that shift. But overlying that is the water, and water is a fluid, so it flows in response to that shift, and that's the tsunami.
I guess the thing that I'm having trouble wrapping my mind around is the ocean is this vast, huge body of water, and it seems like that much water, some kind of disturbance in it would just dissipate. Maybe you'd get some waves, but not these monster waves all going in the same direction. What's the reasoning behind that?
You get some dissipation, but the energy does propagate all the way across the ocean. And interestingly, the speed of the wave is a function of the depth of the water. So out in the deep ocean, you really don't see much of a tsunami, but as it gets close to shore, the wave slows and the water piles up and it gets bigger and bigger. So that's why you see big waves near shore.
So actually, the wave's slowing down.
Yeah.
Or what make it so dangerous?
What happens is the front of the wave slows down faster than the back of the wave, and so the water piles up.
A lot of times, and we haven't seen this video today, but often whenever you have a tsunami, you'll see actually water from the shore recede for a great distance.
Yes.
Is that common? Is that usually what happens?
People think of tsunami as just a wall of water, but really it's a wall up, and followed by that is a wall down, a negative wall, or depending on where you are with respect to the earthquake, the downside could come first and then the upside. In Japan, they got the upside first, but I'm not really sure. I'd have to work out the geometry of the system, but some other places in the Pacific could have got the downside first, where they would see water recede, and then the wall of water would come in.
So we had a big wave that washed up in Japan, huge wave. And then we had waves wash against Hawaii. I believe 6 foot has been the report so far today. And they're also getting waves now on the West Coast, California. What can we expect on the West Coast?
Again, it depends on the shape of the seafloor on the West Coast. If it's a gradual shift from deep ocean to shallow ocean, that wave can really pile up and get very large. But I expect a few feet of tsunami. They'll see tsunamis, but I don't expect that it would be particularly damaging.
So nothing on the scale of what we've seen in Japan?
No. But again, we have to wait and see how it works out. But no, that's not expected.
Now, when we have a quake of this size, 8.9, that's about as big of a quake as we can have, correct?
They get a little bigger, but that is pushing the limit, yes.
All right. Generally, don't we have aftershocks after that?
There are a lot of aftershocks, and they've been rolling in all day. I get emails, I get a trigger every time there's a magnitude 6 or greater aftershock, and my email box is loaded today, so I had to delete many of them. But we'll see a lot of aftershocks early on, and then over the upcoming days, months, and even years, you'll see aftershocks, but you'll see fewer and fewer and smaller aftershocks.
Well, Tim, we're out of time. Thank you very much for being with us today. For more quake coverage, be sure to keep it right here on WVUA TV. We'll be talking more about it later on First at 4. We'll have the latest information and live interviews with another earthquake expert at 5 and 6. And you can find more online at WVUATV.com.